Welcome to PATRIOTS IAS. If you are new to our channel, please subscribe. There are other subject-wise videos are available in our playlist. Try to watch all those videos. It will definitely help you in your preparations. This is 2021 ethics question. Besides domain knowledge, a public official needs innovativeness and creativity of high order as well as while resolving ethical dilemmas. Discuss with suitable examples. So domain knowledge is important in resolving ethical dilemmas. Domain knowledge is important in resolving ethical dilemmas. For a civil servant in domain expertise are able to understand nuances and dynamics of particular field that helps resolving clash between conflict values. So for a civil servant with domain expertise are able to understand the nuances and dynamics of particular field that helps in resolving clash between conflicting values. The domain expertise in civil servants helps in improving quality of decision, service delivery, and thus promoting public trust. And the system of domain expertise also promote merit, efficiency, and objectivity while reducing reliance on outside expert consultation. So domain expertise in civil servants helps in improving quality of decisions and service delivery, thus promoting public trust. System of domain expertise also promote merit, efficiency, objectivity while reducing reliance on outside expert consultation. See, government functions have evolved, becoming more specialized and sophisticated, particularly with greater role of private players in service delivery. So government functions have evolved, becoming more specialized and sophisticated, particularly with greater role of private players in service delivery. Second question is this: should impartial and begin non-partition be considered as indispensable qualities to make a successful civil servant? Discuss with illustrations. See, impartiality means acting without any bias. Impartiality means acting without any bias. And non-partisanship is quality of being politically neutral. And non-partisanship is quality of being politically neutral. These are two considered as essential foundational values for a civil servant in discharging his or her duties. See, non-partisanship means it's the quality of being politically neutral. It entails that a civil servant will serve the government day-to-day function without any political bias. So non-partisanship makes a civil servant to serve the government's day-to-day functions without political bias. And it will help a civil servant to make decisions without any fear or favor to any political party based on constitutional principles. So it will help a civil servant to make decisions without any fear or favor to any political party and based on constitutional principles. It ensures effective professional relationship between elected representative and civil servant. It ensures an effective professional relationship between elected representative and civil servant. Impartiality means acting without any bias. Impartiality helps a civil servant to make decisions on objective criteria and not on basis and prejudices. So impartiality, acting without any bias, helps a civil servant to make decisions on objective criteria and not on biases and prejudices. It ensures amicable and effective relationship between civil servant and society. It helps build an equal aptitude towards everything and everyone. It builds an equal attitude towards everything and everyone. Impartiality and non-partisanship are considered as the essential qualities in the civil servant. These are necessary because civil servants are expected and mandated to act as per law constitution in politically neutral manner without any bias or prejudice. So impartiality and non-partisanship are considered as the essential qualities in a civil servant. These are necessary because civil servants are expected, mandated to act as per law constitution in politically neutral manner without any bias or prejudice. Third question is this: what are the basic principles of public life? Illustrates any three of these with suitable examples. In the ethics first video, we have discussed the first this about the ethical traits in detail. So these 7 principles of public life: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, all have we discussed in detail in the first video of ethics. Try to watch that video. So this question: the fundamental principle in democracy is that all persons holding authority derive it from people. So democracy, the people comes in power by when the people those who comes in the power by when the people elect. In other words, all public functionaries and trustees of the people. With the expansion of the role of government, public functionaries exercise considerable influence over the lives of people. The statutory relationship between public and officials requires that the authority entrusted to officials be exercised in the best interest of the people or in public interest. So fundamental principle in democracy is that all persons holding authority derive there from the people. So in democracy, those who comes into power, they are from the group of the people, from the common people. In other words, all public functionaries are trustees of the people. With the expansion of the role of government, public functionaries exercise considerable influence over the lives of people. So when they come from the group of the common people, they know what are the issues what the common men have, and when they come to power, the public functionaries exercise considerable influence on the lives of the people. The statutory relationship between the public and officials requires that authority entrusted to the official be exercised in the best interest of the people or in public interest. One of the most comprehensive statements of the what constitutes principle of public life came from Nolan Committee, which outlined the following 7 principles of public life: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty, and leadership. So here the question, second part of the question, it says to illustrate 3 of this with suitable examples. See, leadership holders of public office should promote and support the principle of public life by leadership as example. Selflessness, holders of public office should act solely in terms of public interest. They should not do so in order to gain financial or other benefits for themselves, their family, for their friends. Accountability. Holders of public office are accountable for their decisions and actions to public and must submit themselves to whatever scrutiny is appropriate to their office. Next question: what do you understand by the term public servant? Reflect on the expected role of the public servant. A public servant is generally a person who is employed directly or indirectly by government, either through appointment or election. A public servant values public good over his or personal interests. Taxpayers and public funds partially or fully fund their wages, which is why they are known as servants of the public. So, a public servant is generally a person who is employed directly or indirectly by the government, either through appointment or election. A public servant values public good over his or her personal interests. Taxpayers and public funds partially or fully fund their wages, which is why they are known as servants of the public. The duties of the public servants are diverse as duties of and responsibilities of government. There are many elements which our public servant can impact to bring about more humane and ethical governance structures. Public servants have an obligation to protect and promote our constitutional ideals, ensure the preamble, to uphold rule of law, dispense administrative justice, and ensure administrative facilitation. As an elite segment of society, public servants have an important role in forming and even formulating public opinion and perception on various issues. The public servants have an obligation to protect and promote constitutional ideals, enshrine the preamble, and to uphold the rule of law, dispense administrative justice, and administrative facilitation. Should he be efficient as administrators occupying position of power and authority? Is their responsibility to translate policies in programs, to implement schemes on the ground. They need to be agile in their thoughts and actions. They should impartial and incorruptible, as also observed by Sardar Patel, and should work for the inclusive national development as mandated by the Constitution. They should behave in dignified manner, right? that in the first video of ethics 1 we have discussed code of conduct and code of ethics. So the public servant should behave in a dignified manner and the ability to patiently listen and to take a balanced view. They must eschew the arrogance and authoritarianism, be able to approach even the most intractable issues and irritants with a calm demeanor. Next question is, effective utilization of public funds is crucial to meet development goals. Critically examine the reasons for underutilization and misutilization of public funds and their implications. See, effective utilization of funds for welfare service is one of the key tenets to ensure social and economic justice and to meet the developmental goals. So, public servants are trustees of the hard-earned public funds. Therefore, it becomes their moral and legal responsibility for the effective utilization. So, public servants are the trustees of the hard-earned public funds. So, they have to use the funds, moral and legal responsibility. They have the moral and legal responsibility to use the fund effectively. And various reasons due to which funds are underutilized and misutilized are given. So, underutilization, high administrative cost, procedural delays in government office, which keeps the funds tied, administrative tangles and bureaucratic loopholes, inappropriate budgetary allocation, lack of sufficient staff in the government office, improper technological penetration at grassroots level, ineffective decentralization of financial power, misutilization, corruption leading to diversion of funds to unauthorized sources, poor accountability mechanism preventing their effective monitoring and utilization, lack of coherence in planning, effective decentralization of power, populist politics in the country, corporate impact on policy makers, favoritism and misuse of office, expenditure rush during the month of March, popularly known as March rush, which leads to unplanned and improper fund expenditure to prevent lapsing of funds that have remained unutilized, diversion of fund to other purpose. So, for underutilization of fund, high administrative costs and procedural delays in the government offices are the reason which keeps the funds tied and administrative tangles and bureaucratic loopholes. Inappropriate budgetary allocation is another reason of underutilization. Lack of sufficient staff in the government office, improper technological penetration at grassroots level, inefficient decentralization of financial power. The points of under the misutilization of funds, that's corruption leading to diversion of funds to unauthorized sources, poor accountability mechanism preventing their effective monitoring and utilization, lack of coherence in planning, ineffective decentralization of power, populist politics in the country, corporate impact on policy makers, favoritism and misuse of the office, diversion of funds to other purposes. Next question, non-performance of duty by a public servant is a form of corruption. Do you agree with this view? Justify the answer. See, Transparency International regards corruption as an abuse of power which erodes the fabric of society. It undermines people's trust in political system, in this institution and its leadership. Thus, a distrustful, apathetic public can then become yet another hurdle challenging corruption. All civil servants are entrusted with public duty for the welfare of the mass. Negligence to public duty costs masses by loss of their freedom, health, education, rights and even life sometimes, and hence non-performance of duty by public servant is also a form of corruption. See, non-performance of duty of public servant is also a form of corruption. A doctor not reaching hospital on time threatens the life of the patients. A teacher non-performing duty not endangers future of children but of the society as a whole. A police officer not doing the mandates of riot situation leads to loss of life. Corruption amounts to breach of faith reposed by public in civil servant and violation of rights of individuals. It represents a roadblock to effective administration and law and order, failure of achievement of objectives of welfare policies, and eventually guarantee of realization of constitutional goals like social, economic, political justice. The corruption amounts to breach of faith reposed by public in civil servant and a violation of human rights, violation of rights of individuals. It presents a roadblock. Corruption presents a roadblock to effective administration, law and order, failure to achievement of objectives of welfare policies, and eventually guarantee a realization of consultational goals like social, economic, political justice. So corruption is a roadblock to the effective administration, law and order, failure to achievement of objectives of welfare policies, and eventually guarantee of realization of constitutional goals like socio-economic, political justice. And the non-performance of duty by public servants for which they are normally, morally and legally, constitutionally mandated to do is a form of corruption. As a prevention in the Corruption Act, consider non-performance of public duty as an offence. Therefore, it is essential for a civil servant to perform their duty as mandated in order to uphold the constitutional values and become a vehicle of change in life of masses, so that common public can enjoy whatever they are entitled to. So, non-performance of duty is also a corruption. The corruption presents a roadblock to the effective administration, law and order, failure to achievement of objectives of welfare policies, and eventually guarantee of realization of constitutional goals like socio-economic, political justice. Non-performance of duty by public servants of which they are morally, legally, and constitutionally mandated to do is a form of corruption. As prevention to the Corruption Act, consider non-performance of public duty as an offence. Therefore, it is essential for every civil servant to perform their duty as mandated in order to uphold constitutional values and become vehicle for change in life of masses, so common public can enjoy what they are entitled to do. What is meant by crisis of conscience? Next question. How does it manifest itself in public domain? See, crisis of conscience is a dilemma of being ethically unfair or wrong in the decision-making process. So, crisis of conscience is a dilemma of being ethically unfair or wrong in decision-making process. Sometimes in complex and emotional situations, it is very hard to decide what is right thing to do. The situation might need a different solution, practically, which might be immoral, but our conscience strongly suggests a completely different approach. It is ethically proper to violate ethical principle only when it is clearly necessary to advance another true ethical principle which will create greatest amount of good and least amount to harm the greatest number of people, which is utilitarian approach. How does it manifest public domain? It manifests in the decision-making process by civil servants, where decision can be impact a huge number of people. So it manifests in the decision-making process by the civil servants, which have a huge impact on the life of the numerous people. The problem arises when they are pursued under some ministerial influence to take immoral decisions and implement unethical policies. It manifests in tussle between ethics and law. So it is common to come across such crises of conscience in public domain where lives and decisions overlap and come face to face almost every time. The key to overcome such crisis of conscience for public servant is through keeping all dimensions in mind, freeing himself from desires or pressures, and staying calm and true public service, ethical code, and legal framework. If you like the video, please subscribe our channel. Please share the video with your friends. There are other subject-wise videos are available in our playlist. Try to watch all those videos. It will definitely help you in your preparations. Thanks for watching.